Hi everyone, this is Sun, and I'll give you a presentation about my research ideas. Let me explain briefly about conscription in South Korea. It's a universal conscription for males only, and the duration of service is 18 months, and this period has gradually decreased over time. Males over the age of 18 are eligible to apply for conscription. There are 5 branches, which are Army, Air Force, Marine, Navy, and Social Service, or it's also called Public Service. And there are 3 big categories of ranks, which are soldier, a non-commissioned officer, and officer. And within those categories, there are specific ranks such as corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, and major, and so on. Conscripted males join the army as soldiers, whereas females who volunteer start their careers as non-commissioned officers. In my paper, I want to explore how nationalism and gendered militarism are reflected in South Korean military. Nationalism in South Korea has grown after experiencing Japanese occupations and after going through Korean War. And it's both reflected in culture and political context. For example, the idea of Korea being monoethnicity was prevalent because it was taught at school in history classes, and this ideology was subconsciously shared by people, and people were proud to be living in a nation with monoethnicity. Also, mixed race South Korean males were not subject to conscription until 2010. This is because the military service law stated that ethnicity and skin color can impact military service. And nationalism is an underlying theme in all 3 stages of conscription, which is what I will talk about in the next slide. So conscription can be divided into 3 parts, which are pre-conscription, period during the service, and post-conscription. In the pre-conscription stage, the sacrifice and loyalty of male conscripts are accepted as inevitable step to becoming true citizens. It is expected for young males to be grown up and to contribute to the nation after completing the military service. That way, young males, after fulfilling military service, are perceived as true citizens. And during the service period, members go through a transformation of their identities. Their previous civilian identity is deconstructed, and the mind and their body are modified to fit values that are essential to the military system, such as identity, behavior, and values. The last stage is where gender conflicts emerge. During military service, males experience disconnection from their education and career. After being discharged from military, they continue their education or their career, but their female colleagues or peers have already advanced 2 years ahead of them for the time males were serving in the military. As a solution, males want revival of the extra point system. Extra point system was a policy which gave extra points to discharged males when they are applying to public enterprises. And some private enterprises also adopted the system and accounted the time males spent at the military as their career. So they will be accounted as 3rd year, even if it's the 1st year they are working in the company. However, this policy was abolished as it was deemed discriminatory towards females by the Supreme Court of Korea. let me elaborate more on a controversial gender conflict that is still ongoing. Males are arguing that conscription for only males is unfair and that females also have to be conscripted. They argue that the Constitution stating fulfilling duty of national defense by serving the military is biased for applying it only to males. Females, on the other hand, argue that pregnancy and giving birth is exclusive to females and this can be complementary. Males again argue that pregnancy is optional and support their arguments by showing that birth rate is decreasing gradually over time. And they also argue that females are subject to many incentives after giving birth from governments and also from their workplaces, whereas males hardly receive any incentive after completing military service. In addition to literature reviews, I would like to interview South Korean males. I think it'll be more effective to interview groups of people from all three stages of conscription in assessing how their perceptions of nationalism, gender conflicts regarding the conscription differ from other groups. Thank you for listening, and I'm open to any suggestion or comments.